Welcome to InterviewPro. In this video, let's talk about the confusion most of the developers might have if they are new to JavaScript. Not only that, the topic I'm going to explain today is one of the most important JavaScript interview questions. So the question is, what is the difference between var, let, and const in JavaScript? Before we go into details, I'd like to recommend you to go through my video on hoisting to understand this concept better. Var keyword was used to declare the variables before ECMAScript version 6 or ES6. Let and constant keywords were introduced in ES6. Let's look at var keyword first. If the variable is declared using var keyword outside a function, then it falls under global scope. If it is declared inside the function, then it falls under local scope. Wait, I repeated the word scope multiple times. What is it? Scope is where the variables are available for use. Consider this example. I have a variable x and a function with another variable y inside it. X is globally scoped because it exists outside the function. We can access it anywhere in this code, even within the function. However, y is function scoped. We cannot access it outside the function. If we try to access it outside the function, we get an error y is not defined. The second point is variables declared using var keyword will be hoisted. If you are new to this concept of hoisting, please go through my previous video where I talked about hoisting in great detail. For example, see this code. I'm trying to console log a variable called greet, and then I'm trying to declare and initialize it. The output will be undefined. This is because the variables declared using var keyword will be moved to the top of the scope, and code will be converted as var greet, the declaration, and then console log, and then initialization. We have a variable declaration, but it is not initialized yet. So this will be initialized to a value undefined. That is the reason we are seeing the value in the output as undefined. This concept is called variable hoisting. Again, if you need more examples, watch my previous video on hoisting. The third point is you can redeclare the variable in the same scope using var. What I mean by this is we have a variable a initialized to value 1. Again, in the next line, I am declaring the variable a initialized to a different value. In this case, I can declare the variable twice. JavaScript doesn't throw any error. Looks like var keyword is doing a great job, right? There is one problem though. Look at this code. This is a code from C#. What I'm doing here is I have a variable called price initialized to some value, and then there is another variable called discount initialized to 10. I'm storing the current date, and then if the day of the week is 0, that is if the day is Sunday, we have another variable called discount which gives an extra discount maybe, or there might be some logic here on Sundays. And I'm trying to print price and discount here. So let me just run this. And we see an error saying a local or parameter named discount cannot be declared in this scope because the name is used in an enclosing local scope to define a local or parameter. So what it is trying to say is we have a discount variable declared in line number 8, and again we are declaring a variable called discount in line number 13, and everything falls into the same scope. So we cannot have two variables with the same name in the same scope. Now let's see how JavaScript interprets this type of code using a var keyword. This is my JavaScript code, which is similar to the one which we have seen in the C# code. So here I have a variable with name price and I used var keyword here. So price is assigned to some value and another variable called discount. It is assigned to some value and I have a date. If this day is Sunday, which is get day, if the get day returns a value 0, then it is uh, a Sunday. And we have another discount variable in this block with some value, and we might be doing some logic with this value. So I'm trying to print the price and the discount. Let's run it. Now we don't see any error and we see this discount variable is taken into picture. So if you want this discount variable to be reinitialized, then it's completely fine. But what if you didn't have this intention to update the original discount? You just happen to use the same variable name. So the problem with var is it creates confusion, and the second thing is you will end up having a lot more bugs in your code. To avoid this situation, ES6 has introduced two keywords, let and const. Let's try the same example with let keyword. So let me just replace this var keyword for discount with let and do the same inside the if condition. Now let me run this code and the value is 10. So what is happening here is this discount value is taken into picture and this is not, because this discount variable is block scoped. When I say block scoped, anything within curly braces will be in a block scope. This discount variable is within the if block between these parentheses. So JavaScript will consider this discount and the one inside the if block as two different variables. And hence we see only the value of discount variable which is outside this block in this console log. And the other point is, let variables cannot be redeclared in the same scope. For example, I have a variable a initialized to 1, and in the same scope, I am reinitializing or redeclaring and initializing the variable a with another value. In this case, JavaScript will throw an error saying that variable has already been declared. When it comes to a different scope, for example, I have a variable outside the block and I have a same variable declaration inside the block. In this case, since they are in two separate scopes, redeclaration is possible. JavaScript will consider them as two separate variables. Do variables declared with let keyword get hoisted? Yes. Unlike var, let keywords will not be initialized with undefined. Instead, JavaScript throws an error saying the variable has been accessed before initialization, because only the declaration will be moved to the top, not the initialization. Let me remove this and have a console log of some variable called b. Now I am using let keyword to initialize this variable with some value. Let's try to run this. Now we see an error. If it was a var, we would have seen undefined. Now we see undefined. So that's the difference between var and let keyword. Finally, let's talk about const keyword. The behavior of variables declared with const keyword are similar to that of let. However, const variables cannot be updated. Also, we cannot redeclare them. Look at this example. Const x equals 1, and then I'm trying to increment the value of x. This will throw an error saying assignment to constant variable is not acceptable. These variables are constant which cannot be updated. Mostly, we use these variables where we know that the code is not going to alter the values. For example, pi. The value of pi is always 3.14. And similar to let, this cannot be redeclared. For example, I have a constant with name A initialized with value 1. In the next line, in the same scope, I have another constant with the same variable name initialized to a different value. Then JavaScript throws an error saying the variable has already been declared. This is similar to what we have seen in case of let keyword. If it is a different scope, then it is acceptable. So this is all about var, let and const keywords. I hope the concept is clear. If you like the content, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to InterviewPro. Thank you.